At 5:59, we'll give it another few. Oh, well, we got an official 6 up here. Mr. Timekeeper, what time do you have?
I have 5:59 and a half.
Okay. There we go. All right. I'll call the meeting of the Carrollton Mayor and Council for September to order. We are glad to see everyone here. We'll stand and have our Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you'll remain standing, and Councilman Bridges is going to give our invocation.
Let us go to God in prayer. Dear great God of heaven, thank you, Lord God, for this day. Thank you, Lord, for waking us up this morning, our right mind and our health and strength. Lord God, I just pray for unity in our city, unity in our community, dear God, that whatever we do here, we do it in your name, Lord God. We do it for the upbuilding of your kingdom, oh God, and not our own. Lord, I just pray that everything here tonight will be done in decency and in order to glorify thee. These and all of the blessings in your dear Son, Jesus Christ's name, we all do pray. Let every heart say amen.
Amen. Thank you, Councilman Bridges. At this time, we'll have citizens' comments, and citizens' comments are just that, an opportunity for the citizens to address the mayor and council with issues of concern they may have. All remarks should be directed to the mayor and not to individual council members, staff, or citizens in attendance. Citizens shall make no inappropriate or offensive comments. Any individual who violates the rules of decorum will be asked to leave the council chambers. At this time, the mayor and council will not comment, nor will the council take any action on the comments. We have dedicated 30 minutes for the citizens' comments, and you will be allowed to speak for 3 minutes. We are going to change up our citizens' comments just a little bit. Our city clerk, finance director, Mr. Triplett, will call you up. The residents of the city will be allowed to speak first, and then if time allows, then we will have other comments. There was a sign-in sheet. Did everyone see that when they came in? And according to the sign-in sheet, we only have one person who wished to make public comments. Mr. Triplett will be the official timekeeper, and he will call you up and tell you when your time begins and when your time ends. Thank you, Mr. Triplett.
This time I'd like to call Ariel Nix to the podium, please.
I was prepared to come here tonight and tell you all about how you've done nothing. But that actually isn't true, because you have done some things. You've protected Jim Waters from a more than deserved removal. You've defended a racist monument. You've held ice cream parties and donut parties as a Band-Aid solution to national concerns about police brutality. You've bought flock cameras to increase police surveillance with funding that engulfs more than 30% of the city's budget. And you've ignored a plea for solutions to affordable housing from citizens. It's been 112 days since George Floyd's murder at the hands of law enforcement, which has sparked continued protests across the globe. Protests have been taking place in every single state, as well as protests outside U.S. embassies in 60 different countries. This is the largest civil rights protest in history in terms of global response. Last meeting I watched on live stream as a woman spoke about her hardships as a Black mother to find affordable housing for her and her children. As far as I know, not a single city council member followed up with her. She made it easy. She told you where she worked. And I watched as members of the community came together and helped her find the housing she and her children deserve. Meanwhile, you couldn't find the time to help a member of the community that you claim to serve. Prior to that happening in April, I watched as a racist TikTok video that was created by Carrollton High School students explode all over the internet. I sent emails to city and county officials that got minimal replies, and I was met with gaslighting when I finally spoke to a county official about the responsibility that Carrollton and Carroll County has in fostering an environment that has emboldened racist behavior. But let's step back even further. Carrollton was chartered as a city in 1826. Carrollton's prosperity as a city was largely from agriculture, especially cotton, which boomed after the introduction of the railroad system into a lucrative textile industry. You can still see the remnants of that area around the city, the Quilton Textile Museum just off the square, the lofts at Mandeville, and the Bonner House on Front Campus Drive at UWG, which was named after a prominent plantation owner and human trafficker, Thomas Bonner. It was revealed last year in 2019 that it is extremely possible that areas of the university, which was once a plantation, are literally built on the graves of enslaved people. It's overdue that Carrollton and Carroll County take a long, hard look in the mirror and take the time to come up with meaningful solutions to a deeply rooted relationship and history with anti-Black racism. I've been to a few protests and meetings when I'm able to, and I know that there are those in the community that are taking their time every Sunday to diligently show up at the square. It's been 112 days. That's plenty of time to come up with some sort of tangible solutions to the problems that are ravaging our communities. And every single time I've had an email correspondence or a conversation.
Your time's up. I'm sorry.
This gentleman that came in late said he would like to speak.
No, I'm sorry. You have to be here to register prior to the meeting. Okay, at this time, we'll have the meeting from the minutes from the August 3rd, 2020 and August 13th, 2020 minutes. Does everyone have their copy?
I'd make a motion they be approved.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any additions or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Okay. At this time, we'll have comments from the council members. If anyone would wish to make comments.
I would like to make a comment. I've listened to a lot of things concerning our community, and I just want to let everybody know we love our community. And I've talked to a lot of people about things that are going on in the community, and no one said a thing. And I just wanted to say, me as a new city council member and leader in this community, a lot of things is not true. We all do things, we all say things, but we got to learn to handle things in love and in unity. And it's ways that we can do things. And if anyone want to have a comment with me about anything concerning our city, or if we can help in any kind of way, we would be glad to. And I just want to say that I'm not afraid to speak. I just want to do things the right way and love everybody and do it in love. And thank you.
Anyone else?
I don't know how to top that one. But I'd direct my comments toward the police department and whatever role they had in this huge narcotics bust this past week. Congratulations for getting that stuff off the street, and the folks that are doing this. Congratulations, Joel. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Joel. I know all the people that were involved in that had been working on it for a long time. Those things don't just come up. So good work on that. I I typically wouldn't do this, but I would like to point out that, Ms. Nix, you're mistaken about the mayor and council not doing anything for that woman. We've got a councilwoman right here that's had already had a conversation with her that day. I called the lady's employer, or I thought it was her employer, the people that own the gas station. The mayor was involved with, we all were working to try to help this lady find something. I see you back there shaking your head. You don't know what went on because you weren't on my phone, you weren't on her phone, you weren't at her house.
Because she came to my house. Can I
Yeah,
say
so I'm gonna stop, but I just want you to know that you're mistaken. Thank you.
Okay. This past week, I was privileged to participate with our housing authority and Mr. Chick Griffin and his staff with the Department of Housing and Urban Development. Our housing authority was recognized for its family unification program. And what this does, if a family has been separated for some reason and they've gone through all of their programs and they've gotten everything done that they're supposed to do, and the only thing that's lacking in their program is housing, our housing authority has vouchers that they can use to help these people get housing so that all the family can come back together. And our housing authority has done really, really well. We have 26 vouchers. Now, I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but it is, considering how our community and how it's calculated. In those 26, 11 of those vouchers are for young people coming out of the foster care system and have reached the age of 18, from 18 to 22, I think. And they can obtain these housing vouchers also to get their start in life. And I just think it was awesome that the Federal Housing Authority, Housing of Urban and Development, recognized what we do in Carrollton to try to help people with housing. And I want to commend Mr. Griffin and his staff for all their programs. That's not just the only program that's done. We have the Shelter Plus Care through a grant they received, and this is for people that suffer from mental illness. And also we have the Veterans Supportive Housing for veterans. There's lots of programs that go on through the Housing Authority. They have after-school programs. They work very diligently in our community to help us address the programs. Mr. Uglum and I were privileged, and some of our police officers were privileged also last week to attend a work session meeting with Pilgrim's Pride. This company has wanted to give us a tour of their facility and show us what they're doing in our community. And some of you might have seen in the local newspaper that their particular branch here has been awarded money. Well, after we did the tour and they showed us what they had done during the COVID crisis, I mean, Councilman Uglum and I both were just, we were all just taken back of how diligent this company had worked to try to protect its employees during the COVID crisis. And all of the programs that they have improvised there to help their employees, they gave a scholarship to one of their employees. They started a scholarship fund this year, and one of the employees' children received it, but it can go to employees. You know, this company is really working hard. We addressed lots of issues. We sat down after the initial meeting Mr. Uglum and I and some other people, and addressed what we saw as issues, housing being one of them, and we talked about what they could do and how they could help in our community with our housing to give more affordable housing to people. So I just want to, one, commend our housing authority. I want to commend Pilgrim's Prize for their initiatives that they've taken in our community. And I know there are other companies, but I mean, we were all just taken back of all the things they have implemented during COVID. And I think during the whole COVID, and Bob, you correct me, was it 32 employees they had?
I don't remember. It wasn't very many. I want to say 13 or.
Was it 13? It was a small number of people, and I really contribute that to all the efforts they put in to in their plants. We toured their plant to see how they have put up the plexiglass, even between microwaves where the employees go to warm their food up, even between vending machines where people would go to get things. I mean, it was just amazing, all the things they had done there to try to protect their employees, and also the incentives that they had given to keep people working, and to not just keep them working, but keep them safe and healthy and working, and try to help them understand about the COVID crisis. And so I want to commend Pilgrim's Pride. It's really fun to get to do those kind of things in our community. And we have so many good companies in our communities that have worked hard to protect their employees during this COVID. And that is the other thing. I want to thank those that participate with our Mask Up campaign. I hope we continue to do that. It's just really important that you wear your mask. According to our health department, this morning I get a report every Monday. We had 82 cases last week, so we're still having the cases. But I think if we keep diligently working, wearing our masks, washing our hands, and social distancing, we can hopefully overcome this. All right. Okay, city managers' announcements and comments.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just to continue with what the council has mentioned about the drug raid, you may not know, but the West Georgia Regional Drug Task Force is in Carrollton, and that's represented by how many counties, Joel? 20, 25 or so, even Fulton. Yeah, even Fulton County in Atlanta is represented here, and that's in Carrollton. And so this drug raid that was so successful is just phenomenal what they've done. It's the biggest drug raid in the history of the area. And so we're thankful that that entity is in Carrollton, and that says a lot for this city, for what this city is willing to fund. It says a lot for our chief and the relationship that he has, and our sheriff and all the local police forces. So we're very thankful for that. I also want to mention that the flock system, Joel approached me about this a while back, and he had to explain to me what the flock system does, but it's cameras that are tied into a computer network that read the automobile tags, and that way we know who we're trying to track, who we're trying to locate. We've had 2 extremely successful finds because of this flock system. The flock system costs less than $26,000 a year, which is not a lot of money these days. They were able to find a 1-year-old child that had been kidnapped, and this is not a child that was taken by their father. This is a child that was kidnapped by a stranger off the street, beat the mother up, and ran and took the child from Chamblee, and they caught them because they passed through Carrollton because of this flock system. So I can't imagine what that would feel like to be a parent and lose a child that way, and I'm so thankful we had this system and we're able to help people as far away as Chamblee. They also found a 93-year-old man who had dementia, who had gotten lost and had passed through the town, and I guess he was found in Carroll County. So I'm very thankful for this system, very thankful for our police force, and Joel, we just appreciate what you do.
One other thing I want to mention too, I guess you saw it in the paper where the young lady that was, had been found here with sex trafficking too. I just want to commend all of our law enforcement in this area. I think they do an outstanding job. And to, you know, I know a lot of people still don't believe that we have homelessness, we don't have, you know, people living in tents, we don't have gangs, we don't have sex trafficking and those kind of things here in Carrollton and Carroll County, but I'm here to tell you it's very prominent here, just like it is in most areas. But the 16-year-old that was found this week, I think that's great. And I guess you've seen where the governor has really put forth effort to help with this. And, you know, to me, it just gives me a feeling of pride to know that our community is working diligently to help these young people that are taken and used for sex trafficking. I just, as a mother, I just cannot imagine something like that happening.
Can I say one more thing?
Sure.
Tonight, I asked Chick Griffin to print me up some Carroll County Family Connection Community Resource Guides, and they're out on the table out there. We have in our community over 100 resource organizations, and that tells me that we've got hundreds of people, if not thousands of people, that care about our community, that care about the people in our community, and are willing to volunteer their time to help others. So if you know someone that is in need, if you will please pick up one of these pamphlets on your way out this evening and get that to them. You know, there's a lot of people that'll say, well, nobody cares. But I know people that work in these organizations, so I know that there are people who care. And I think that if you'll take the opportunity to reach out to some of these people or get involved yourself. There is so much negativity in the world today. A positive thing that people could do is get involved. Do something yourself to help your community. Break the chains of this negativity. Thank you so much.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda items for consideration before the council?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Same. Any opposed? Same sign. Motion carries. Okay, our first one is a special use permit request at 401 Bankhead Highway, a food truck court. Petitioner, Mr. Brent Harris. Ms. Erica?
Hey there. The first item on your agenda is a special use permit request for a food truck court at 401 Bankhead Highway, which is the Pelican Snowballs commercial site. The Planning Commission reviewed this in July and recommended approval with the following condition: that all participating vendors make a contribution to a local nonprofit entity. That was in keeping with the recommendation that they made for the Curtis Wilson request on Park Street. They recommended that be approved unanimously, 5-0. This item was tabled at your August meeting, and it's back again tonight.
All right.
Madam Mayor, we recommend that if you choose to approve this, that you place the requirement that it have to be renewed annually. That way you get another bite at the apple every year if this isn't working out. We also make the recommendation that the food trucks have to leave the premises and go home every night.
Okay.
That's the, for the food trucks, that's a requirement that they go home every night,
Okay.
according to the health department.
In this particular case, since it is a small, and I'm going to take this off so you can hear me. It is a small parking area, and there's already an established business there. At this time, I would like to recommend that we only approve the site for one truck. Now, I'm not saying that we wouldn't look at additional trucks later, but this is a small site. They've got probably less than 20 parking spaces, and there already is an established business there. So at this time, I'd like to make it just approval for one food truck at a time. I mean, he can have a different food truck every day. Doesn't bother me at all, but I just don't want to see us put 2 out there or 3 out there, and then all of a sudden we've got traffic backing out onto Bankhead trying to get in the parking lot. So it's not the city's responsibility to provide parking for this location or the means of handling the traffic. So I think right now I'd like to see it just for one truck. Thank you.
Is that in the form of a motion?
I would like to make a motion that the site be approved for one truck, that the truck leave during non-business hours, and that we review the site on a yearly basis.
Okay. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Yes. Can you tell me what the thinking is behind making it a nonprofit food truck?
I really think that was a carryover from a prior request. They were just trying to be fair. The Planning Commission, they included that approval because it was a church site, if you recall, that first one that they reviewed. And the applicant had indicated they were really trying to offset costs from the church, for the church. And so it wasn't necessarily anything that they want to include all the time. I think they were just trying to be consistent in their assessment. And since they had included it in the prior one, they included it in this one. I don't think they would have any heartburn over it not being there. They were just trying to be consistent.
In my discussions with the health department about this, if a food truck is a nonprofit, it's not required to be inspected by the health department. So I would add an addendum to that whatever we're approving here, that it not be a nonprofit and
I
it
think
be
it's a
inspected.
misunderstanding. They wanted them to make a donation to a nonprofit, not actually be a nonprofit. I think there's a misunderstanding there.
Okay.
I think the food truck is a for-profit item. I think they wanted them to make a donation to a nonprofit. We felt like that was an empty requirement because the donation could be $1. So we don't think that, A, we don't think it's enforceable, B, it's almost meaningless because it didn't require an amount. So I don't think anybody would mind if you excluded that requirement.
Yeah, I'd be fine with excluding that.
We also, just as a side note, when they come in to get their actual food truck permit to come to this particular location, the fire marshal does approve. That's part of our approval process, exclusive of what the health department does. So we have our own kind of review and approval with the fire marshal.
Yeah. Okay.
So do you want to amend your motion?
Yes, I would like to amend my motion to not require the requirement to contribute to a nonprofit. That be stricken from the motion, or stricken from the approval.
All right. Now that we have an amended motion, do I have a second?
I second the motion.
Okay. All right. So the motion is that we allow a food truck to, a special use permit for 401 Bankhead Highway. The food truck court can consist of no more than one food truck at a time, and that we exclude the requirement of making a donation to a nonprofit. Is that what you have? Okay. All right.
And the annual renewal.
And yes, annual renewable. Okay. All right. Any further discussion? Mr. Attorney, are we good?
Finally got my green. So I think you left out the one requirement that they leave every day, that they
Okay.
be removed
All
from the site.
All right.
Well,
I believe that was in the motion.
Yes,
Yeah,
it was.
it was.
Okay, all right. They
There's-
have to vacate the premises. I'm sorry. I think that was, and I just didn't repeat that.
there's one other part of this that I hope that we can establish at our work session later this week. Is it this? It is this week. Is that we will be addressing and what the cost is to have a food truck court, and we plan to discuss establishing like a universal food truck permit where anywhere that's food trucks are allowed in the city, that you'll be able to move from place to place. You won't have to go and get a new permit for each location. Now, the cost of that has yet to be established, so as the cost of continuing to approve these food truck courts. So that's something that will come up in the work session this week. We wanted to go ahead and approve the site for Brent Harris because he has come in a couple of months ago, but he will be subject to the fees that are going to be required by food truck courts that are established in the future. So whatever that yearly fee is for him to open up, he'll have to pay the whatever fee structure that is established.
All right, we have a motion and a second. We've had discussion. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you. Okay, the next item is renaming of South Alma Street to Jenny Mae Dyer Street. And Mr. Grizzard, I think you have that.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I am honored to be able to recommend to this mayor and council that the city rename South Alma Street to Jenny Mae Dyer Street. Ms. Dyer was the matriarch of a very fine family, two of which are employees of this city. I met Danny Dyer in 1989. He is now the best wastewater superintendent that I know, the best one in the country. And we're pleased that he's here tonight. We're pleased that he supports his city the way he does. And his son was a Class 1 water operator at our water plant and is now a fireman, and is such a gentleman that I saw him get up and give his seat to someone older than him. I know he was raised right. And I know you were all raised right by Ms. Dyer. I know she was a strong person and a delightful person to be around, and she passed away a few months ago, I believe at 96 years old. I think I've got that right.
97.
97, okay.
Yeah.
Lived through COVID. She came here one night to speak, got a hold to the mic, and that was a delightful time to see. But I'm sorry of her passing. I know she had a long, full life, and I'm just honored to be able to make this recommendation to the mayor and council. And once they approve this, when we change the signs, we'll also have a dedication out there if you like, and unveil the signs if you want to do that, if the family wants to do that. But anyway, that's the recommendation. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Grizzard. We have a recommendation. Do I have a motion to change South Alma Street to Jenny Mae Dyer Street?
I so move that motion.
Okay, thank you.
I'll be glad to second it.
All right. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. I didn't have the pleasure of getting to know Miss Dyer very well, but I love the stories. I know she was a very, very interesting lady. The other street we want to rename tonight is West Center Street to Stuart Martin Street. Mr. Martin was a mayor here for 2 terms. When he was elected, he was the youngest elected mayor in the United States. I didn't bring the whole biography. I thought we would save that until our dedication. But I would recommend, he was a businessman. very interesting family. They own the funeral home here, but the original funeral home was up on the square, right next to where Plates is. So I want to really acknowledge the service that this man gave, not only in serving his community as mayor, but also his family. And now the Martin Hightower, has continued on through all these years. So I would like to entertain a motion to change West Center Street to Stuart Martin Street.
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
Okay, I have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, the motion passed. Thank you all. And as Mr. Grizzard said, once we get the street signs done, then we also will have an unveiling and hopefully get some press on Ms. Dyer and also on Mr. Martin. Okay, at this time we have Resolution 15-2020, a right-of-way abandonment. Mr. Holland?
Yes, ma'am. This is for consideration of the abandonment of what is known by plat only as William Street right-of-way. This extends from Hay Street to North Acock Street. A section of right-of-way that's approximately 20 feet wide and 360 feet long. It's basically a right-of-way that you would never know the city owned unless you looked at the plat. I never knew it existed. We were approached by the property owner, Wayne Seabolt, that requested us to consider abandoning the right-of-way. This would allow him to further develop his property. So Resolution 15-2020 requests you approve that to give the city manager the right to dispose of the property according to state law.
Okay, all right. Do I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we pass Resolution 15-2020, the right-of-way abandonment of William Street.
Okay. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Just for everybody's information, this happens from time to time. All right-of-way deeds didn't get recorded, so sometimes we don't even know they exist until something like this occurs, and it's just a matter of transferring by deed the right-of-way to the property owner. So is there any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Hearing none, motion passed. Okay, Mr. Grizzard, vehicle purchase, a garbage truck.
Thank you. As you know, we had an engine fail in one of our older garbage trucks. It was not budgeted. We were trying to get one more year out of it. The truck is 10 years old. It had 220,000 or more miles on it. Realize those are not highway miles. That's a quarter mile at a time, stopping at every house. That is a lot of life to get out of a piece of equipment like that. And the material it's carrying is very corrosive, and so I want to commend Mike and his people that maintain these trucks. But the engine failed. The price of a new engine was $40,000. The price to have the company install the engine was another $40,000 in labor. Now, we likely would not have spent that had we chosen to redo this truck. Mike's got people that would have installed the engine, but it's certainly not cheap, and a truck of that age we just didn't think was worth saving. We thought that was a waste of money to put that the money should go toward a new truck. So this was an emergency, and as I let you know, we need to go ahead and buy the truck. So we have ordered the truck. I need for you to approve it after the fact and amend the budget, please. And so we got three prices, they were Stringfellow Inc. for $315,876, Ingram Equipment Company for $307,024, and Carolina Equipment Supply, which is who we're recommending and who we've made the purchase from, for $260,714. We have experience with Carolina Equipment Supply. They have a local office, and again, we've had good use with them. And so I'm asking that you approve that purchase and amend the sanitation budget by that same amount, which is $260,714. And Mike's here if you have any questions.
Okay, you have the recommendation, and I just want to say it was really ironic that this came tonight, because this morning when I was coming into the office, I noticed that the sanitation truck, and how many times going up and down my street, it was stop and start. And I know, I'm not a mechanic by any stretch of the imagination, but I know that that's a lot of wear and tear on a truck. So do we have a motion to accept the quote from Carolina Equipment Supply for $260,714 and amend the budget, sanitation budget, for that same amount?
So moved.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I second.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion or questions? Okay. And Mr. Triplett, will you have the budget amendment ready for us at our work session? Yes. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I overlook it?
We can sign it after that.
Okay. Mine. Oh, okay. All right. I'm sorry. It wasn't in my copy. But we do have I should have known, the efficient finance department we have already had it done. All right. I have a motion and a second. No further discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Okay. Hearing none, motion carries. And Mr. Green, you have a new sanitation truck, and I know all the citizens appreciate that. Okay, our next item of business is the debris bins. Mr. Grizzard?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It is more and more difficult to find employees who want to do such backbreaking work as work in the sanitation department and dump garbage and pick up debris. And our city does more debris pickup than any city that I know of. We run that cycle twice a month. Any given home will have that pickup cycle run in front of their house twice a month, basically every other week. Something that will help our guys a lot and will help with debris in the streets is if we have asked the citizens to bag the leaves and the yard clippings. And I know when this council took office at the first of the year, you had received a lot of complaints about how bad it looks to have clippings piled on top of the storm drains or piled in the curb or in the street. And so, again, we asked the citizens to start bagging that, and actually took effect this month. We had a number of calls in support, had a few against it, but had a lot of them in support of it, but had several requests saying, why don't you provide a wheeled container like the trash bins and like the recycle bins? And so we like that idea. I've discussed it with all of y'all at a retreat we were at recently. And so what we've had before you is a budget amendment to allow us to buy Mike, what's the number? 2,000 of these containers? Around 2,000 of these containers. We need to amend the budget for $134,340. We are planning to do with this the same way we did with recycle, which is have the citizen pay, the customer pay for half of it, which will be approximately $30. And so the city's going to pay half, the customer's going to pay half, but we need to amend the budget for the total amount. And again, so we're asking you to approve a budget amendment in the sanitation department to buy, these will be brown bins. Your regular trash goes in a green bin, your recycle goes in a blue bin. These will be brown bins, and the budget amendment would be $134,340. Mike, when do you think these will be delivered? Okay, so sometime between October 23rd and 25th is what he said. So we're asking that you approve that budget amendment, please.
Okay. You've heard the request. Do I have a motion to amend the budget?
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Grizzard, is this number of 2,320 bins, is that based on maybe the recycle bin number?
Yeah, there are about 7,500 residential customers, and so, we don't want to buy a partial truckload. How many loads is this, 4 trucks? So it seemed like, based on the participation we had with recycle, that this was a good number. Mike's got room to store a certain amount, so if they weren't all, taken in the first few months of this program, he can store them and they'll be used as they wear out or whatever. We may have more people want them than the 2,000. We'll just have to see.
But can they still use the paper bags?
Absolutely.
Okay, all right, okay.
And again, we're not asking for them to put sticks in it. If it's sticks and brush, lay it there and the guys will pick it up. But if it's, again, just leaves and yard clippings, this may be helpful to some people.
Okay. All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Hearing none, motion carries. Last item on our agenda is board appointment for the Arts Commission.
Thank you. During your August work session, we let you guys know that we had 2 board positions with the Arts Commission for the Center for the Arts expiring, and at this time, we would like for you guys to appoint 2 more new people to that commission.
And Eric, I believe recommendations were Andrea Stone. Am I saying that right?
Andrea
And
Stone.
Helen Helwig.
Yes.
Am I saying that right?
Okay. Do I have a motion to now, Andrea's a reappointment, right?
Correct.
Okay.
She was actually filling out. She just started.
Yeah,
was
she
filling
filled
out
an
someone's-
unexpired term. Okay, yeah. To appoint Andrea Stone and Helen Helwick for our Arts Commission appointments.
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Any further nominations? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Okay. All right, that includes our approval of our agenda items. There is one other thing I wanted to let everyone know. Our West Georgia Regional Library, Neva Lomason Library, if you've been down Rome Street, you saw that beautiful new building. The dedication, the grand opening will be this week, and I'm assuming they'll be open for customers by the end of the week.
I don't know the answer to that. I hope so.
Mr. Ledbetter. Do you know?
I don't know.
Okay, all right.
I too am hoping that means we're opening, that they are opening
Yeah.
soon. So.
I know they've done really a magnificent job on that library, and when I go down Rome Street, I come up Sturt Street when I make my round, and I go down Rome Street. So when I saw that big white building, I thought, ooh, but it is beautiful, and I commend the group for what they've done there, and I know the inside's just as beautiful. So if you have a chance, get by there. I think all the actual dedications is Wednesday, and then hopefully by Thursday or Friday it'll be open. But I appreciate the committee that worked on that. I know that was a big undertaking. All right. Any other items of business? Okay, hearing none, meeting adjourned.